6:03, we're live across the United Kingdom. Talk Drive. Well, talk is the home of common sense and free speech, and thank God for talk, because the way this world's going, I don't know. But, of course, we were all mightily impressed yesterday when Epping Council won that agreement with the judge and did the Home Office completely. I'm so delighted with my next guest. I've literally run to have a wee, because I'm getting to the age where I need to. So she's sitting here as calm and as cool as anything. Sarah Pochin, Reform's newest female MP, only female MP. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Thank you for having me on the show.
I will take you out for lunch. We're going to have to sort this out.
You keep promising.
Honestly...
I'm going to have to move on soon. Can I just say Peter Cardwell has offered me tea and scones?
Of course he has. That's such a manly thing to do. Is come for tea and scones. Do you know, I don't know if I should say this to you, but do you know what gentlemen have on crumpets in the afternoon?
Honey?
Gentleman's relish.
Oh.
Do you know what gentleman's relish is? It's anchovy paste, isn't it?
Is it?
Peter Cardwell, being an English gentleman, will probably say to you, would you like a crumpet with gentleman's relish on it?
I'm not sure that's me, really.
I don't think it's you either at all. I think we'll go for an Italian lunch. Anyway, listen, thank you so much indeed. I would firstly, we've talked loads over the months. I'd love your take on yesterday. I was on air when this news broke straight away, and it literally took the airwaves. Everybody wanted to talk about the same thing. You've seen today the Reform 12 councils have said they'll seek legal action. In the last hour, we've heard the council at Wirral Council, which is Labour-run, is considering it. Tamworth considering it as well. Spelthorne have been pushed by Conservatives forever in the Midlands, but they've only just done it today. Is it going to be like a house of cards in your mind? Well,
at the moment, as you know, it's an interim High Court ruling, so there's always the possibility that this ruling will get overturned, that the government will be able to put pressure on the courts, I guess, to overturn this ruling, because the problem for the government now is that they still have 210 asylum hotels around the country with 32,000 migrants in it, I think is the figure. I mean, we know that there's 50,000+ migrants that have come in since this Labour government has been in power. So the government has got a real problem, because if this ruling is upheld, I'm sure it will go to appeal. If it is upheld, then what do the government do? They've got these, we, the taxpayer, have paid for these asylum hotels. They then have to find alternative accommodation. Now, if it was...
They also made it their policy. They said, didn't they, several months ago, we will move these people out of hotels. Right. To where? To private accommodation, to social housing?
In my constituency, I have about 850 to 900 asylum seekers, and my hotel, the Daresbury Hotel, has been shut because we called for it so strongly in the by-election, but of course it was too late. It didn't work for Labour. But the point is, they've been moved into houses of multiple occupancy, HMOs, which we're hearing finally people accepting that this is a problem, because I went on and on about it in the by-election. To be honest, before I stood in that by-election, I never really appreciated HMOs and the impact that they were having in the community, and of course, since listening to my constituents coming in and talking about it, now everybody's talking about it. It's a massive issue.
I did a TV show years and years ago, and we were doing HMOs then.
Right.
There were 27 people in a 3-bedroom semi-detached house in the middle of Birmingham.
Yeah, shocking.
27. It's shocking.
Yeah, absolutely shocking. So I've got, I think, 90 in my constituency. But the other shocking thing is where they are generally being put and placed. And the North West, for example, in the latest Home Office figures, March 2025, the North West has 20,400 asylum seekers dotted around it. And places like Runcorn, very deprived towns, which historically have been only Labour, have never had a strong, powerful voice like mine standing up for them, have been a dumping ground for this issue, while no longer for Runcorn.
Well, it's interesting for Runcorn. It's interesting across the UK. So a few questions. I mean, you've made the point, and you were a magistrate, that it's a temporary injunction, if you like. But I would say this. I would say that the reason I think it's about to be a house of cards is, I think, I'm going to throw at you what I said to somebody yesterday. Was yesterday not the moment, Sarah, when the silent majority suddenly realised that without being, by taking on board that we've been called every name under the sun, you're far right, you're thugs, you're this, you're that, these people, these were women concerned about their kids, actually won a victory of common sense. A judge who wasn't left-wing saw the facts. That gives strength, does it not, to the people who believe that actually this can get better, rather than that, oh, well, this is what we're in, we're going to have this for another 4 years. I thought that was really, really important. And even if this is overturned because the government finds some sort of legal loophole, I think it's a powerful moment. I mean, yesterday, the KC for the government, I don't know if you read this, said that this would impact on Yvette Cooper's, I call her Mrs. Balls' job to her duty to house asylum seekers. Said it earlier on the show, I'll say it to you. Isn't a government's prime duty to look after, protect, serve and make sure the lives of the people in this country are better before anybody else?
Absolutely.
Have I missed the point?
Absolutely. The priority should be the safety of our British citizens, and Reform, quite rightly, is saying that this is a national security issue now that we're facing. And the point about the HMOs that we're talking about, so the hotels get shut, they get moved into HMOs, they're then lost in the community. It's almost impossible to keep track of these people once they're dispersed in the community. What should be happening is that this country should stop being a soft touch. It should stop having the pull factor for these asylum seekers, and all of these asylum seekers, any that set foot in this country, go into old army bases.
I'm not allowing them. I've told you before. A reconditioned cruise liner, the Channel. You're not setting foot. I'm going to train a crack team of Border Force officials. You've got 24 hours and we will open our doors to you. But otherwise, you're going to a detention centre. I want your response. Sarah Pochin, Reform's newest MP, Brighton and Hove City Council. Have you heard this? You'll love this. Jacob Taylor, who's obviously about 11, the local authority's deputy, has just said that as a proud city of sanctuary, we, Brighton, will always play our role in housing asylum seekers and providing a welcomed support to those poor souls fleeing persecution and horrific circumstance, which many of us can only thankfully imagine. I would respectfully suggest that persecution and horrific circumstance on the beaches in France is a tent. That's what I think. That is absolutely symptomatic of what's wrong with this country. That bloke saying that people are coming from France here because they're being persecuted.
Well, last time we all looked, France was a safe country. Why aren't they staying there? And I go back to what I said before. They're coming here because we are a soft touch with our benefit system. They get a house, they get money in their pocket, they get free dental appointments, free GP appointments. We all know the list now, ever increasing and shocking. Zoo tickets, cinema tickets, you name it, they're getting it.
What would you say to Brighton Council?
Well, you know what, if they want them, you take them then. Because I tell you what, in the northwest we've had enough, and let's move them all down to Brighton if you want them. But a reform...
Pete in Croydon says, I will absolutely guarantee that Sarah Pochin will be the next Home Secretary.
Thank you very much.
She doesn't want that job. She wants to be Justice Secretary. Here's what politicians do, by the way. They say, Jez, when we get elected, we'll speak to you, and then they ignore me.
I promise I'll still speak to you.
Good. I think you'd be a brilliant Home Secretary and Justice Secretary. And Jacob Taylor, Brighton, whatever. The fact is, I always talk about, for me, like, the reason Nigel tracks at the moment, this is my opinion as a voter, is that he seems to read the bloody room. I don't know how many politicians...
Exactly.
Are Labour going to wake up to the fact that people... all sorts of people, left, right, centre, high, have had enough of this.
But you know what, this guy in Brighton that you've just mentioned, does he have any responsibility or feelings of responsibility to the normal, ordinary, hard-working, British-born people in that area? Because I tell you what, you start filling that area up with these houses of multiple occupancy and these asylum seekers, and local people have the threat of safety to their women and their children, which we're facing in Runcorn, and people shout me down and they tell me I'm making it up. No, we've got hard evidence. You know, as a magistrate for 20 years, I know I don't speak unless I have hard evidence. So, yeah, let's see how the residents of Brighton like it when all these people are moved in and start to threaten people that need housing, people that need public services, school places.
Let me read you a story. I've just been handed this. Jacob Taylor in Brighton won't be listening and he won't be interested, but this is the reality of what is happening in this country. And for every single person who might go, oh, you're being a bit harsh, you're missing the point. A migrant, we've just heard this out, just been reported in The Sun, has been found guilty of sexually assaulting 3 women while cycling home from work to his asylum hotel. Case Al-Assad, 26, committed the heinous attacks over a 3-week period along the same bike path in Hawley in Surrey. I won't go into specifics. He was arrested on June the 19th and the same clothing was covered during a search of his room at the 4 Points Sheraton Hotel in Hawley. All 3 victims whose identities are protected after being sexually attacked near a Waitrose car park, bravely gave evidence today at his trial. This man, thank God, speaking through an... Speaking through an Arabic interpreter, how much did that cost? He said, "I haven't done anything wrong, I haven't assaulted any women, and I haven't kissed anyone. I left my country, I left my wife and kids in the camp. All I seek is safety." District Judge Julie Cooper found him absolutely guilty of all three offences and remanded him in custody at Wandsworth for sentencing on October the 1st. It follows a huge protest outside the 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel near Gatwick Airport on Saturday, August the 2nd. Now, I would respectfully suggest to some idiot who I saw on a programme today say, "What are you saying? That every not to me, that every single person, Carol anything, every single person who's a migrant is going to rape?" And she went absolutely nuts at him. This man should not have been allowed into this country. So the 3 women who were sexually assaulted, whose lives will be blighted forever, that would have been avoided, Sarah Pochin, if this man hadn't come into this country.
There's lots of parts of that story that we need to break into. First of all, you said he was working. Why are these people allowed to work in the illegal black economy? Because we know they are, either as delivery drivers or whatever it might be. So that's the first thing. They're getting everything for free and getting an income. Then it's his 3rd offence on the same psychopath. Where are the police? How many times do you have to report offence of sexual assault on the same route without police being there and policing that?
I bet if somebody wrote this horrible migrant shouldn't be working, they'd be arrested.
But not only that, we hear he left his wife and his children in a camp. Well, what kind of man would leave his wife and children behind, come over to this country...
They're being bombed. I say this the whole time.
Sexually assault people. Well, what kind of human being is that? So, I'm sorry, we do not need these people in this country. They've arrived here illegally. Reform government will deport the lot, deal with them offshore and send them home.
Everybody says to me the same question, and I ask you when I speak to you, and you always answer it because you're good like that. It's really easy. Some people would say, simple solution, stop the boat, stop the benefits, stop the pull of Great Britain being what it is, stop Great Britain being such a soft touch. But they all tell me, the Blob, the ECHR, left-wing lawyers, blah, 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 blah. I'm naive. I think the democratically elected leader of this country should be able to walk into number 10 and say to the I don't give a toss what you lot think, this is what's happening. If Nigel or anybody else in your party or whatever, how committed are you to making sure that your hands aren't tied? What would you do if you got there and it was impossible to implement? What would you do?
It's not impossible. If I was in the fortunate position one day of being the Home Secretary, then under my watch, it's not impossible. It's about the will of the government to do it. Other governments have done it. Australia's done it. Yeah. Italy now under Giorgia Meloni is starting to do it. Even Germany is starting to question the ECHR. We will leave the ECHR when we get into government in 2029. We need to put a stop to this huge industry of left-wing human rights lawyers that make a fortune.
How much do they make?
Out of this industry. It's got to stop. And the endless appeal after appeal. We've got to put a stop. The Home Office, under my watch, will put a stop to this endless appeal process so that these asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, call them what you like, do not get the opportunity to spend the rest of their days here at the taxpayers' expense appealing and appealing and appealing. God, it will stop.
I hope I don't die before it happens. I'll love to watch it. Jacob Taylor, though, says that, I presume, we've always been about caring and sharing, and that's how Great Britain should be seen, and we shouldn't be seen as this hard-nosed, unfortunate country. My argument to him would be, we're skint, you idiots. You should look after your own first.
We are bankrupting ourselves, aren't we? But the point I would make...
part of the problem.
The point I would make to him is that whenever there are genuine refugees, let's talk about the Afghan interpreters. We've looked after them. When there were... clearly the war is still going on in Ukraine, but when it broke out, this country rose to the challenge.
Led the way.
Yes,
one of the few
we
things
did
that
under
Johnson
Boris.
did
Yes,
no, it's true.
We did, yes, and we took in genuine refugees, and we would always do that. That is the type of country.
I saw a great piece on television the other day. They were one of those great reporters who didn't mind being sort of slandered a bit. Went amongst all the Palestinian activists, and he asked the same question the whole time. Went, actually, the migrant protesters, stop fascists or whatever. And he interviewed 11 people, Amy, and all 11, when asked if they'd take in a migrant said, well, I would if I had the space.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I saw it.
Hypocrisy.
But that's exactly the point, isn't it? These people that go out there and protest, they've got nothing better to do.
No.
They clearly can afford not to work, so they go out and stand outside Parliament and make people like me lives difficult because I can't get in the building. But
do you get dogs abused?
I do get abuse, yes, but
does it deter you?
I'm brave and fearless, and thank goodness there's people like me that are standing up and being heard. And this
what sort of abuse? Online?
Well, the online abuse, do you know what? I don't look because I think it would drive you.
I could have taught you that. I could tell you a few stories. Yes, just ignore it, because people who do that are too sad.
A lot of people say to me, you know, does it upset you what you're reading? I say, I don't read it. Why would I read it? You know, one, I'm far too busy.
If you base it on this that somebody once told me, which is the way I sort of deal with it, or dealt with it, I should say, don't know. If you're naive enough to think that by being brave and standing up and saying what you feel, that if 100 people in the room, the odds are 50 are going to think you should be Queen and 50 are going to think you should be shot. If we're being completely honest, right? Yeah. You have to understand that. That's democracy. And I think it's really important, because I think you need a thick skin. I do.
It's brutal, the job I'm doing now, but I'm absolutely ready to do it. But what I would say is, you said 50 people like you, 50 people won't. That's changing every day now in this country, because more and more people, wherever I go, yes, I get the abuse, but more and more people are now saying, keep going, we're behind you, we need you, this country needs you.
Completely agree.
And that keeps me going.
Can we talk about, I nearly said the wrong thing there, can we talk about flags? The other big news story this week is, this is an extraordinary story that started in Birmingham, where the local council said, you can't put a flag up, health and safety, the pole might fall down and land on somebody's head. And then we had this idiot, I can't remember his name, it's not the one that you said yesterday, anyway, the leader of Tower Hamlets Council, who was found guilty of election fraud in 2015 and banned from holding office, is now back as the mayor of Tower Hamlets.
How does that work?
I know. I'm very happy, very, very happy to fly Palestinian flags, but has banned the UK flag and the flag of St George. And on a purely personal level, and I wanted you to pick your take on this, this really hacks me off. I don't understand why I'm allowed to be told that I can't be proud of my country and my flag. I'm sick to death. Some dreadful human being, Mike Graham was talking about it earlier on GMB, where he said, well, this country's racist and the flag. Well, don't, just go then. Sorry, Absolutely. I don't understand why Ireland, Wales, Scotland can be proud. We're not allowed to be proud. If I want anything, I want us to be able to be proud of who we are and where we come from.
Absolutely, and look at America. Virtually every house, let alone government building, is
the White House, when the welcoming Starmer, had more flags than Tower Hamlet that were United Kingdom flags.
They're loud and proud. Even France, look at France, the tricolour is everywhere. So what is wrong with our Union Jack? And again, a reform government will only be flying the Union Jack on public buildings. We will have none of this nonsense. And it won't be alongside Palestinian flags. It won't be alongside the black and white flag of Islam. The only flag that will be flying is the Union Jack flag.
Laura Donovan says, hi Jez, Sarah Pochin is an incredible woman. I'm only sorry that at my age I probably won't be around in 2029 to see her become Home Secretary. The woman, she needs your vote. What are you doing? Don't be so selfish, Laura Donovan. It is interesting as a sort of overview. I mean, you know, you look at this government. I mean, Rachel Reeves today, inflation's gone up, right? I mean, somebody said today, which is brilliant. So we're being I've got less money because she's taken it, and she's more skint than me. What's she done with it? It's true, isn't it?
Absolutely. We've got inflation at 3.8%. The gilts have now gone up to 5.6%, which means that she's paying more, we are paying more, to borrow the money to fill the black hole of, I think, is it 40 billion now? Is it 50 billion now? They don't know.
She trained as an economist. She's an economist. She trained as an economist. There's the other one. Do you remember the business secretary? I'm a solicitor. No, you're not. Oh, no, I forgot.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm a liar.
Well, look at them all. They are a hapless bunch, aren't they? And she is absolutely, I mean, we're bankrupting ourselves anyway with this immigration problem, but clearly Rachel from accounts has no grip at all on this economy.
Mike and I call her Richard III. Oh. Go, when you leave here, have a look at a picture of Richard
I know what you mean.
Exactly. You see,
That's a bit naughty.
No, it's not. Hold on a second. Angela Rayner called the Tory front bench scum. How's that allowed?
Yeah, I know. Disgusting.
You know, you can't have it. You can't have it two ways. I think that this country, Sarah, is ready, and whether it's Reform or the Greens or the Liberal Democrats, I'm just trying to be balanced.
Yeah, really.
I just think that yesterday was the start of I'm not over-egging it, just a wake-up time where people... You know, I'm older, much older than you, and I remember if you'd used the words, or I don't know, if you'd used the word immigration 10 years ago, you'd have been labelled a racist. I believe it's the most central feature of the next few months, possibly
It is
the
a
next
state
campaign.
of national security. There is no question. And I have said through the summer, I think Parliament should be recalled. We should be talking about this.
When do you go back to work?
1st of September.
Well, I say that you've been working all bloody
I
summer.
haven't stopped yet. But Parliament is back sitting on the 1st of September. But then, of course, it breaks for the conference season. But the point is we should be back. We should be debating this. This is a state of national security. I talk endlessly about the safety of women and children because of this problem, but it's the economic problem. It's what it's doing to our finances. £50,000, isn't it, to fund an asylum seeker for a year? You know, how
We've
can
got
we go on?
103,000 times 50,000. What's that, 50 million quid?
Listen, I did A-level maths, but it was a long time ago. I
Did
can't
you do
work that
A-level
out. I
maths?
can't work that out in my head.
I failed maths O-levels. So did you do maths? How many O-levels did you get?
3, of course.
Did you get a degree as well?
I did.
In what?
Economics.
She should be the Chancellor. She's an economist.
No, definitely not. Thank you.
Listen, so grateful. Love having you on. And Nigel was first out the traps with the response, and he said that the councils under reform control will be taking legal advice to do it. And maybe it's the start of this country waking up and going, I'm afraid, don't want these people in our communities. We don't feel safe. We don't feel it's just. And maybe Labour will listen. But we know you will at Reform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
She's amazing. They love her. Sarah Pochin. And lunch. Should we do this? Oh, yes, we'll make it. Honestly, just laughing at me again. 0344 499 1000. It's 6:20.